Zach Dixon here from Zach Dixon Coaching, and today I want to talk about a simple concept of never giving up. Never giving up, and never ever giving up. Because that's the one mindset that will get you what you want. And most people in life, they start something, they start a business idea, they start anything new in their life. They're real excited at the start because they're making progress, they're getting themselves to do something. But I promise you this, you will have some adversity moments. You will have times where life is unfair. You will have times where life is just not going the way you plan it to go. But that's life. And one thing I like to tell you is to never give up, even if you have some adversity moments. Because in life, that's what happens to us. Life happens to us sometimes. But you got to understand, you got to look for the golden nugget in those times, because if you really look deep in those times, there will be a golden nugget in there to learn from something. Because most of the experience of my life, the negative experiences of my past, everything, I'm so glad all those things happened. I'm so glad that I went through those dark times, because I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't have the self-esteem, the confidence that I have today, because when I went through that, it was such a hard time. But when you're feeling those anxious feelings, that's when you grow the most. If you could look at all the dark times in your past, and instead of looking at them like, oh my God, they control me, look at them like, I'm glad those things happened. Because if you can look back and your worst day turned into your best day, and you can really change the perception of it and really think about it like that, everything in your life changes. So I really want you to just have the mindset of never giving up, and just expect bad things are going to happen to you. Murphy's Law, expect the worst. Expect things are going to happen to you. Because every single person that you think's, super success, they still deal with stuff. They still deal with the same anxiety and feelings that you experience. They might be able to cover them up better, and they might be able to do that, but they still have went through hell to get to where they are. It's having that mindset to say, I'm never going to give up. I'm never going to give up. I'm just going to keep hustling, keep hustling. 10 years goes by, keep hustling, keep hustling. And I promise you, you'll get there if you have the mindset to never give up. Because think about it, if you actually give up, how can you live with yourself like that? If you really think about it and you really want something and you've done it for 2 years, 3 years, and you're not seeing progress, maybe change your approach. But just realize the most successful people in the world, it took them 5, 10 years, 15 years, whatever. To be their super successful, overnight success, whatever it is, it took them a long time to do that. Nothing happens overnight. You still got to work for things in your life. And I'd like to say, it's like a boxing ring, life is. It's like you're going into the fight. It's like a dog. It's just like a dog fight in a boxing ring. Sometimes you're going to get hit in the face. Sometimes you don't want to get up. You don't want to get up and do things. You don't want to get up and, go for it. You don't want to do the things. But sometimes you just got to. Because it takes a real man to get up when adversity hits. It takes a real man to say, I'm going to let that go and I'm going to break through this. I know it's hard right now, but I'm going to do whatever it takes to break through. And if you can have that mindset, you'll get everything that you want in your life. Because you already have everything that you want. Just expect. Sometimes, though, you're going to have some high times. You're going to feel amazing. But how can you really appreciate a good high time if you haven't went through adversity? If you're always happy all the time and you're always excited, you're always perfectly like that, how can you actually, you need some contrast, right? You need to have a dark times. You need to have bad dark times, because they're not actually dark. You learn the most in those times about yourself. When things aren't happening for you, that's when you grow the most. It's not when you're like, oh my God, everything's going really well. Everything's going well. Because guess what? Something's going to happen to test your character, to test if you have badge you want it. Bang, right in the head. Oh, do I, my back's against the wall. What do I do? You confront your fears and say, I'll handle it. That's the mindset that you have to have. The certainty. To say, get up when you get hit down again, get up when you get hit, and one time soon, it's going to be your breakthrough. So one time soon, you're going to wake up one day and it's going to be like, yes, it finally had a tiny breakthrough, and everything that I've been doing for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years of my life was all worth it. But start today. Because if you want something, you've got to start today, not tomorrow, not the next day, not say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Start today. Because if you can start today, everything that you want, you can have. But all it starts is make a decision right now that you are worthy, you can do anything, and you're going to have adversity, but be ready for it. When adversity hits, say this: this is going to test my character, but I'm going to break through. I'm going to do whatever it takes to break through. If you have that mindset, there's nothing you can't achieve, my friend. So live with passion. Boom!